Hey, Tommy, why the long face?
Shame.
Do you have something to be shameful about?
Maybe.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to this special divisional weekend recap of the Trajan Temple Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic, Christian Temple, joined alongside, as always, by, well, I guess not alongside, I guess down under, joined by my good friend, the terrible towel twirling Trajan. And we have a very special guest for you this week, making his return to the Trajan Temple Sportcast. It's our good friend, our resident Giants fan, Skate3Tommy. How are we doing this fine week, sir?
I'm doing good. Temple Trajan, thanks for having me over again.
Always a pleasure. Always a
Always
pleasure.
glad to have you on.
Thanks.
Well, full disclosure, we kind of meant to have you on the previous week, and things unfortunately did not go the way that we wanted to, and sadly, things did not go the way for the Giants this week either, did they?
No, not quite. It's hard to be disappointed though. I think we did much better than I thought we were going to do, and we'll discuss that later.
Absolutely, we will. But we'll get on to some happier topics here really quick. But actually, before we do that, how are you doing this week, Trajan? I guess I usually ask that, and I didn't think to do so this time.
Still on vacation.
You just brought the black screen with you this time, and
No beach this time. The funds ran out. You don't get as much money.
That's fair. That's fair. Alrighty. But yes, what a divisional weekend it was this week, especially for the Chiefs, Eagles, Bengals, and 49ers. So let's get started right away. And as you can see right here, the Saturday afternoon game, the Kansas City Chiefs take down the Jacksonville Jaguars by a final score of 27-20. And, it was... there's always that hint of doubt when you go into divisional games because, like, the Jags, they had to go through another team in a wild card. It was a home game for them, but they came back in the third best comeback in playoff history against the Los Angeles Chargers. Holy smokes, what a game that was. And you're always a little nervous because you think the momentum's all on their side, and that's what they're going to do. They're just going to take the momentum and steamroll you in your own house, and it's going to be embarrassing. And there's a certain person on this panel here that knows kind of firsthand how that feels to lose to a Jaguars team at home in a divisional round playoff game. And I'm very happy that the Chiefs did not follow that same fate. What were your thoughts about this game, Trajan?
Well, first off, I lost a lunch bet to this game. So I do owe a coworker lunch. Second off, that the Kansas City Chiefs are very fortunate that they were facing the Jags because any other team probably would have beat them that day. A gimpy Mahomes, come on.
Come on, you're not going to give my boy Chad Henne any credit here? He came in a 98-yard drive for a touchdown. Anything's possible, man.
Yeah, a BS roughing the passer call, keeping the plays alive.
I see where your thoughts are in this. Tommy, you got a chance to watch a little bit of this game. What were your thoughts?
I did watch some of it. I assume for you a little bit too close for comfort. I think what I get out of it, though, sometimes is the questions that you need answered out of the Chiefs sometimes don't get answered as far as, where they're at currently, much like the answers on is Mahomes able to walk at this moment, which I've been hearing floating around, that he can't even walk. So a little fear there for you, but they are currently my backup team, so I do hope the best for them.
Well, and actually there was some footage of Mahomes. He was, stretching and walking around doing drills with the team as if nothing seemed wrong. So, that two thumbs up. Exactly right. It could be old footage, but
I also think there's footage of DeMar Hamlin out there, but
right, yeah. And Andy Reid did say in his press conference he is progressing along very well, so very happy about that update. Might be playing it a little close to the chest, and I completely understand that too. But yeah, the ultimate answer will come this Sunday when they take on the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game, which they are hosting for the 5th straight year. It's a very impressive feat, nonetheless, for Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. But yeah, like you mentioned, Tommy, it was. There were some nerve-wracking moments. I was watching this game in the locker room at the XWE show in Salina, Kansas. So, and I almost missed the entire fourth quarter because of how long my match was. It was like a 20-minute match, and like started at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and I came back through the curtain just in time to see the onside kick recovery by the special teams for the Chiefs. So well done there. Some very key turnovers, an interception and a fumble recovery. The fumble recovery happening in the red zone, and the one-handed spectacular interception by Jalen Watson. We didn't think anything could beat his 99-yard pick six against the Chargers back in week 2. He found a way. That was a very pretty catch. I think that'll probably end up on You Got Mossed for the playoff edition this year. So yes, the final score 27-20, Chiefs over the Jaguars, and as I mentioned, moving on to the AFC Championship game against the Cincinnati Bengals, which I will be there. I am super excited. This is my first conference championship I'm ever going to see live, and who knows, it might be the last one I ever see live. I don't know. It's going to be cold, it's going to be windy, but it's going to be fun. I am definitely excited. Even though the Bengals are considered the favorites in this game, I am super excited to go see this one live. So now moving on to something that I know Skate3Tommy isn't looking forward to talking about. The Philadelphia Eagles, Saturday night, taking care of business against the New York Giants by a final score of 38-7. And Tommy, I'll go ahead and let you give your thoughts on this game first.
Well, let's just say I don't often turn a game off after the first 2 quarters. But I had to on this one because I just couldn't be there to see it. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion, and I had the opportunity to look away, and I did. But at the end of the day, still, I think a better season than I ever thought we were going to have, and probably most Giants fans. It felt like, oh, this is what it's like to play a real playoff team as opposed to kind of a fake playoff team. And it reflected on the scores greatly. So
Absolutely. Yeah, that was one where I was busy watching the rest of the show that I was a part of too, and I would check in every once in a while on the score, and it seemed like every time I checked in, it only got worse. And
oh yeah, it was by the first quarter, I think we were down. It felt like 21-0, and I was just like, all right.
Looks like the halftime score was 28-0. So it was the Giants just seemed like they couldn't get anything going. Daniel Jones sacked 5 times in this game with 1 interception, no touchdown passes. Barkley couldn't really get a whole lot going. Defense is just, there were a lot of question marks surrounding Jalen Hurts. Would he be effective coming off of injury? And we did find out the answer to that question pretty early on. And Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders, both having good games in the rushing attack. It was just anything that could go wrong did go wrong for the Giants here. Trajan, you got any thoughts on this game?
So I did not watch this game. So I was on my way to Kansas City. The kiddo was listening to Disney Princess music in the back. And I'm finally like, well, I'm going to check in on a game. And I turned the radio station to it, heard the score, and said, nope, you can listen to Disney Princess music.
Yep.
So that's that was my experience on this game. So yeah. I didn't know what happened. All I know is someone got destroyed.
Not the way you definitely wanted to end the season, but what a season it was for the Giants, honestly. we'll get to this more in depth here in a little bit with our USA Today results. But Tommy, even you can admit you really didn't have a whole lot of faith in your team this year coming into the season. But what were your thoughts? What were some highs and lows for you in this season for you personally?
I think the biggest high is the new coach, and I think I underestimated what that culture he brought could do for the team. And I don't know how much it's responsible for things like Daniel Jones kind of playing to the expectation that people were hoping for. So it was really good to see him kind of ball out a little bit. A little disappointing because I didn't see any of the flame he had the game previous to this one in the last one. But to see Saquon get through a season fully good and healthy, a few games there that I felt like he really just like either he was hot or he was cold, I felt like, where he either couldn't get the ball going, but he was there the whole season. So I think that, with the healthy offseason, he could come back to like full Saquon Barkley next year. And I would like to see Daniel Jones come back as well as the coaching staff that they have right now, because it's giving me that old school like Bill Parcells fire you up type vibe, and we kind of need that in Giants land.
Absolutely. No, that's very, very, very well put. You want to talk about a turnaround, like almost completely 180 from seasons past. You get rid of Gettleman. You get Dable as your new head coach. Yep, like as you mentioned, a totally different culture here. Brings out, maybe it's not even the best. Brings out a better side of Daniel Jones and a better side of Saquon Barkley, a healthy Saquon Barkley, most importantly. Maybe he hasn't brought out the best of him yet. Maybe the best is yet to come for you guys. I mean, only, as you said, this offseason will be very telling, and luckily you don't have Gettleman holding you guys back in the draft and offseason decisions now. So, yeah, maybe the sky's the limit now for the Giants.
We'll say we got the building blocks. I think it's easy to doubt some of the decisions that they make about picking up certain players, and almost amazing to see what it pans out to. Like someone like Daniel Jones, if you remember the reactions when they drafted him, was like end of the world. But let's see if he sticks around, because you get all these talks now of could he get bigger offers elsewhere after the year he just had. So I do hope he chooses to show us more of that in New York.
Absolutely. And one last thing I will leave on to is thank you very much for Kadarius Toney. That was very, very, very thoughtful for you guys. All right. Now we are moving on to the next game, which was, I think we could all agree, was kind of a surprise, all things considered. I mean, we all know what happened, week 17. It was a rough week in the world of football with what happened to Damar Hamlin, which I think made everyone even more excited to see the rematch in the playoffs. But given the circumstances, Buffalo did not look ready at all in this game, and Cincinnati on the road in snowy conditions, they came to play.
They came out and hit him in the teeth and just didn't stop. It was bad. I mean, the score doesn't really reflect how bad Cincinnati controlled that game.
You know what's funny when I look at this too? Josh Allen had more passing yards than Joe Burrow in this game.
Yep.
That's hilarious. Yeah. The big difference, though, I'm looking right below it at the running game. And the Cincinnati Bengals, they had the perfect attack of rushing and passing. And it makes me nervous because historically, the Chiefs defense, not too great against the run game. Playoff time, usually they show, a little more fight in there. I mean, we saw that in 2019 with Derrick Henry, the Titans only holding him to 69 yards. Nice. But yeah, the rushing attack and the passing attack from Burrow and Mixon, just Buffalo had no answer for it, it seemed like.
Yeah, and oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Drew.
There's something about that Burrow. There's a little bit of attitude going on with the Bengals right now, but he's a cool customer, and I just, I'd be a little nervous too if I were you, Josh. The way they're rolling right now, kind of playing their best football towards the end of the season and coming into the playoffs is when you want to be playing your best football, obviously. and a little chip on their shoulder when I believe they lost some type of home field advantage or positioning when they didn't get to play that one game. So I think that if anything, that just kind of put a little bit of a chip on their shoulder coming into the playoffs, if I'm right.
Oh, absolutely. You knew that in their Week 18 matchup with the Ravens. I mean, we saw when Mixon scored the touchdown, he immediately goes to his sock, or goes to his glove, pulls out the coin, and flips it right there. I mean, yeah, there was a major chip on the Bengals' shoulder here too. And you know what? It's funny. All that being said, Bengals are coming into Arrowhead, and the Chiefs are now the underdog. That's the crazy part to me. It's,
ESPN says you're still 65% chance to win.
I know, but Vegas has us 2.5-point underdogs. That's the I don't understand how the percentage and underdog. I don't get how they come up with that assessment.
I think Mattress Mac might be coming up with the odds these days.
$2 million, man. I just, oh my god, just if I had that kind of money to throw around, holy smokes. Well, actually, it's funny that you bring him up because the final game of the divisional weekend is, not really a surprise. It's just more of a disappointment because you really were hoping for a more competitive game, and Dallas just did not bring that. It seemed like San Francisco 49ers take down Dallas at home 19-12. I mean, all we were hearing this year, it seemed like, from Dallas was Dak Prescott's back, baby. This defense is elite. Zeke is back. Tony Pollard's back.
And boy, were they.
And boy, were they. They were in full playoff form this time, weren't there? 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. And I got to get you guys' thoughts here. Was the last play of the game this year dumber than how last year's ended?
That was pretty bad. I'd say it's dumber because what was Zeke doing out there? I mean, and then he just gets destroyed. He wasn't even ready for this guy.
Wait, he threw it to someone, right? Refresh my memory. Did he throw it?
Okay, so Zeke
caught it. He got blown up.
So
guy got blown up.
Zeke is the center. Shotgun snapped Dak Prescott, which and then he throws the CD Lamb immediately. Was it what? It was CD Lamb, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought so too. Okay, yeah, CD Lamb immediately blown up, taken down the crowd, and just nothing. That was it. Let's break this down here. Okay, first of all, Zeke Elliott at center.
I mean, he's got a lot of experience.
What was that one play the Colts ran a few years back where they moved everyone to the left side of the field? The punter was the quarterback, and then the center was the only one left. And none of the Patriots players followed where all the alignment went. It was 5 guys against the one poor center and the punter who, as soon as he got hiked the ball, was and he was blown up immediately.
You can see why Rodgers did not want McCarthy.
Wow. Wow. It appears we've lost Skate3Tommy here. Hopefully we get him back in momentarily. Oh, there we go.
All right, guys, I lost you on my end.
Well, we still don't have your video.
We need your video here, bud. Hey, he's back. All right.
Yeah, it went black.
All righty. So yeah, that leaves only one NFC East team left. We started the playoffs with 3. Now we're down to 1, and it's going to be a fun matchup. We got the Eagles and 49ers. 2 really good defenses. We've got Jalen Hurts with all those offensive weapons, but Brock Purdy so far has shown that the moment still isn't too big for him. He has a great opportunity to prove how relevant he truly is against the Eagles. They will be going on the road to Philly, but man, what a matchup that's going to be.
Yeah, the 49ers and insert quarterback here.
That's true. That is actually true.
And they've said that their system is built so that you could literally put a.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Tommy again.
Oh wow.
Earth to Tommy. Skate3Tommy, can you? Uh-oh. Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
We've lost him in the void. All
He'll
right.
come back.
Well, let's get your thoughts here, Trajan. What do you think? What are we expecting to see? You think with 49ers and Eagles coming up?
I think that the Eagles will make it so it's not even close. This is a very good defense that they're going to be facing, but I think the Eagles are going to go in there and thrash them, because it's also the Eagles have a very good defense as well. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
not like they have a terrible defense. So I think Jalen Hurts, I mean, he's laser focused. He wants this, and I think he's going to get it.
For sure. Alrighty. Well, we will address these technical difficulties here too, and we will join you back here to look over the results of our USA Today picks from earlier this year. And as you can see right here, we've already made some changes, and we went ahead and just highlighted all of the correct answers here. So we shall start with the AFC West. I, of course, was correct as well as Skate3Tommy in believing that the Chiefs would exceed the expectation of an 11-6 record, and also show that they would be sole first place in the AFC West. Trajan, you had other thoughts, apparently. What was your thoughts and reasoning behind your lower pick?
KC is trash. They only benefited from a weak division.
but you still believed lower for some reason.
I still believe lower.
All right, Chargers. We were all wrong about that one. We all bought into the hype, unfortunately. And then the Raiders, I was correct with the lower, and the Denver Broncos. Oh my God, we can take a second to talk about that. What happened? Just where did it all go wrong for Denver?
They hired a hack.
Literally.
Yeah, he couldn't inspire a starving man to eat food if he was in front of him. That's how I feel about him. I think he is a locker room cancer, and from what I hear, he's not the most motivating person. He goes home to his wife Sierra, I believe, and just forgets that he's part of an organization.
You know what's kind of ironic about Hackett? He literally hired his own replacement halfway through the season. The guy he hired to help him with the clock was the guy that ended up replacing them. And credit to the Broncos, they didn't wait till Black Monday. They got rid of him as soon as they possibly could.
Well, oh man.
All right. Moving on down to the AFC North, we had the Baltimore Ravens, who were, understandably bitten by the injury bug. I really thought they'd be pretty competitive, and who knows, maybe they would have been if Lamar played most of those games. But Trajan and Tommy were correct. They ended up being 10-7 rather than 12-5. Cincinnati Bengals. We decided to just go ahead and make everyone correct because they ended up 12-4. They could have very well ended up the same or lower. We don't know, but it's the way that injury to DeMar Hamlin, made things happen. So we just gave points to everyone on that one. Pittsburgh, I was correct on that, and for some reason, Trajan, you seem to believe that they would do a little bit better with Mitch Trubisky this year.
I thought they would do better. I was wrong. There was games that they were close. They were close in a lot of them, but I was wrong.
Well, I guess to be fair, we did see a little bit of the upside of Kenny Pickett towards the end there.
Oh yeah, we finished out strong, 7-2.
Well, a team that did not finish strong was the Cleveland Browns, although they did finish one game better than what USA Today predicted. Well, here's the disappointing prediction in this division. It was just a disappointing division entirely. Colts definitely fell well short of their mark at 9-8.
We'll say that they were right in predicting that 9-8 would take the division.
That is true. That is actually true. But they definitely were wrong about how the Jacksonville Jaguars would end, and we were very wrong about how the Jaguars would end. I guess we didn't think Doug Peterson could help turn that culture around, and he definitely did so in a very impressive way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they were the best losers out of all the losers, I guess.
It sure seems like it. The AFC South is probably easily the worst division in the AFC, easily. But Houston Houston Texans. We were both correct. Higher by half a game. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. And they blew it. They could have been lower, and I would have been right and got the
Yep.
first draft pick.
But they
What happened to them?
Lovey Smith. He was a sleeper agent. He was trying to help his Bears get the first overall pick. You can't tell me otherwise. All right, on to the AFC East, and when it came out that the Bills were going to go 15-2, we all looked at each other and we were like, "There's no way. There's going to be teams that are going to find ways to beat them," and the Dolphins being one of them. Who was it? The Jets found a way to beat them, and surprisingly the Vikings. I would not have picked that beginning of the year, but we were all correct with the lower there. The New England Patriots. That was kind of a disappointing end to their season, just barely missing the playoffs.
That was right.
Disappointing for who? For Patriots fans, okay.
That exactly. Miami. That was correct. Although if they would have had Tua maybe the whole season, maybe that would have been a little bit better record. And the New York Jets, kind of a little bit of a surprise there. We really didn't expect them to do a whole lot, and my goodness, their carousel quarterback Mike White kind of helped keep them relevant for a little bit. Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, It was their defense that kind of helped them along win some of those games.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, little brother just playing Jets football the way they always have,
Absolutely. Alrighty. Now, moving on to the NFC West, and I think probably the biggest disappointment in the NFC West easily has to be the defending Super Bowl champion LA Rams. I think you guys would agree with that.
Yep, definitely hit the injury bug this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just didn't have it,
Yeah.
they didn't have a whole lot of anything, especially as the players started biting the dust. I'll tell you a team
as bad as they are, though, they beat the Raiders.
They did beat the Raiders. A team that did find their stride, though, surprising enough, was the San Francisco 49ers, and I was not a believer until probably about halfway through the season, honestly.
I wonder what changed.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing what a healthy McCaffrey could do for a team.
No kidding.
And he fit in. I mean, that first game he played with them, it was like, oh wow, might be something. And I honestly think he was probably a pretty big difference maker throughout the season for them, and still is.
He definitely helped them trend higher in the positive direction. Probably won't spend a whole lot of time on the Cardinals. That's kind of what we expected them not to do. Make a whole lot of noise. I'll tell you that though. How about them Seahawks though? If you want to talk about one of the biggest surprises in the NFC, outside of the Giants, you kind of got to give them credit too.
Yeah, especially with it being Geno Smith.
For sure.
Yeah, and talking about the Giants, I never thought he was capable of. I never really had faith that he was that great of a quarterback, but he did well for him. I got to give it up to Geno Smith for having a good season.
He finally lived up to what his potential was thought to be coming out of college, and they were competitive for the first 2 quarters with the 49ers in the playoffs, but then one mistake, one strip sack, and it just all went downhill from there. But you've got to be excited if you're being a Seahawks fan, because not only did you do better than the Denver Broncos, you got their draft pick.
Oh yeah, you went to the playoffs and got a top 5 pick.
What can be better than that, right? Well, I'll tell you what's better than that. Watching the Packers miss the playoffs.
Which I was correct.
You are correct. We bought into the Aaron Rodgers hype again. It's angry Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna take over the world. He's gonna show everyone that he can lead a team with no receivers to the promised land. Crazy to think that the Detroit Lions had a better record at the end than the Green Bay Packers. I mean,
and they ruined their playoff hopes.
And they were the reason they didn't make. Well, I guess one of the reasons. They're not the only reason, but they're one of the reasons they didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yep. Ooh.
And
But
then,
good point.
and then, Do we call them frauds or do we just call them overachievers but underachievers in the playoffs? The Minnesota Vikings, who fell victim to the New York Giants in the wild card round.
I don't think they're frauds because we kind of knew who they were this last year. We knew they were a great offense with no defense, and they were yet again a great offense with no defense.
And that offense did not look very inspired against the Giants, did they, Tommy?
No, not very much.
No.
And I mean, if there were ever two wild card teams to be in the playoffs, it just, it was a toss-up. I think it could have went either way. I think there was a chance that they could have, done the same thing to us, but we came to play that day.
Absolutely.
And they did not.
Speaking of who they thought they were, the Bears are who we thought they were. They were. Let's be honest. When you only have Justin Fields and no line to protect him and no weapons to give him, these are the results you're going to expect. But if anything, for the Bears, there's maybe something to look forward to. You got some good draft picks coming up here too. From what I understand, they're pretty good in the cap space right now. So maybe go out and sign some free agents this season. I don't know if they'll be better than the Vikings or even better than the Lions next year. Maybe they'll be better than the Packers. You never know. But I guess Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears, doesn't he? That's the one thing he owns.
He does own the Bears still, unfortunately.
All right. Well, moving on to the NFC South. Dear heavens to Murgatroyd. I can't believe this is the one we got the most correct on. The Buccaneers. We all universally agreed that they would not go 13-4, and they did not go 13-4. They didn't even go 500. Myself and Tommy both agreed lower, and that was still enough at 8-9 to win the division. That just goes to show you how bad this division really was. Saints.
How things have changed with Brady.
Yes.
He's playing, his marital status, possibly his facial structure.
He had a very rough year.
Yes.
And most of his wide receivers being out at one point or another did not help.
Mm-mm. And not having a healthy offensive line.
Yep.
Having a different guy starting for you every week, it seemed like. That didn't help either. Crazy. It's kind of like how a certain Super Bowl, when you don't have an offensive line, how things turn to go south. That's weird to me. The Atlanta Falcons, I think we all agreed. Yeah, we all thought it's like, that's not looking good for them too. I was the only one that think that maybe they'd go higher. I'll be honest, I didn't think they're going 7-10. I thought it'd be like 3-14 or maybe even 4-13. But that's kind of you're kind of happy as a Falcons fan because at least you exceeded expectations. But I don't know if you still have a whole lot to look forward to in the future.
No, you don't. But who does have a lot to look forward to is the Eagles.
They do. They've got a championship, conference championship game to look forward to, don't they? 11-6. I for some reason, I believed it was going to be the year of the Cowboys, and it almost was. The Eagles kind of slipped towards the end there. The Cowboys were kind of riding high. They didn't get enough to take over the NFC East. The Eagles did enough to hold on. But the Cowboys kind of showed who they were in the playoffs. What else needs to be said about that?
I subscribe to that too. I think that before the season, I thought the Cowboys were going to be the team, and especially in this division, which has kind of notoriously been tough to predict who's going to be in front.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And yet it was the only division in the whole league that had winning or 500 record.
Which no one would ever predict.
Ever. The next closest was the AFC North.
Yeah, tough division.
Alrighty. Well, that is our recap of the USA Today predictions. what a season it was. There were some expectations that were met. There were expectations that fell well short. I can say with absolute confidence, I am absolutely proud that your Giants exceeded expectations, because that made it pretty entertaining to watch the NFC East instead of oh God, here comes these guys again. You know, they're all just who's gonna limp into the playoffs this time, and that title definitely belonged to the NFC South. Well, Skate3Tommy, sincerely, thank you so much for joining us this week. We really hope to have you on for future episodes again, especially in the offseason when we recap the drafts, the free agent frenzy that we know is going to just pop off in the offseason here. But sincerely, Skate3Tommy, where can people find you and follow you at here?
Well, for me, Skate3Tommy anywhere, being Twitter, Instagram, mainly TikTok, Reddit. I'm pretty much everywhere. Many more people know Skate3Tommy than Tommy, so just put it in the internet and you'll find it.
Absolutely, yep. Skate3Tommy, he's got a lot of cool things in the works here. Some future projects that I wish we could talk about here on stream, but in NDAs, those are a thing. Yep, we can't discuss those on here. But definitely give him a follow, give him a watch, give him a like, and definitely stay tuned and all the cool stuff that he has coming up in the future.
I'll be pulling for you and your Chiefs, Josh.
I appreciate you, man.
Yes. I don't care what team Mahomes is on. I'm a Mahomes fan no matter where he plays.
All right. Well, real quick before you go, you need to witness this. So earlier this week, Trajan and I have made a bet. And it involves a certain wearing of the jersey, which the last time we made this bet did not go so well for Trajan. But we have shook hands already, but you are our witness to this. If the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game this coming Sunday, next week on the show, Trajan has to wear the very jersey that he bought me. The very same jersey that he had to wear the last time when we went to Arrowhead Stadium and the Chiefs whooped up on the Steelers. But on the inverse, if the Cincinnati Bengals win, Trajan,
he has to wear a Kenny Pickett jersey in shame.
Nice. And you own that one?
I do, because of this man here.
That wasn't. Let's not get that confused. I did not buy that for him because I lost anything. I bought that from the kindness of my heart because I'm a nice guy.
Because he is a nice guy.
Because I'm a nice guy, exactly. Yeah. But yes, I will bite the bullet if the Chiefs lose. And next week on the show, I will be wearing the Kenny Pickett jersey that I did buy as a gift to my good friend, my best buddy in the world. What a guy, Trajan. So, so you've witnessed it here, Tommy. See. You're the notarizer, I guess, for this.
It's stamped, and I'll be waiting to see.
We got the Skate3Tommy stamp of approval. All right, Skate3Tommy, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time, bud.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tommy.
All right.
All righty. Once again, we want to send a shout out to Skate3Tommy. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend. All right, now it is time for the final installment of this year's Locks, Upsets, and High Rollers. And as the shame is already raining down upon Trajan here too. And normally I would say, as you can see by the score, but now I'm going to say, as you can see by the final score right here. Bam! Right there. I reign victorious. The third installment of the Trajan Temple Challenge, Series Challenge. I forget how we called it. The Trajan Temple Challenge Series goes to me. Now I am up 2-1 in this series. The final score, 37-25. And you know what? I was near perfect this week. I was nearly perfect. I guessed all four teams, actually correctly. I know I screwed up when I said Minnesota last week, but no. Kansas City, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, San Francisco. I was 4 for 4 on my picks. And I was almost 4 for 4 on the over-unders. If I just would have said under, on the Chiefs-Jags game, I would have been perfect. I took a risk, and it paid off big time. I said under in Philly, Cincy, and San Francisco, and I was correct, baby. Let's go.
So painful. I think I went with my heart too much this week. This year. And I paid for it. I think I paid for it.
Absolutely. No, that's the there was like I said, I just should have kept taking risks every single week, because how many upsets
you were nailing
over the course of the season was I just nailing. Even ones I wasn't even truly confident about. I'm like, all right, well, this counts as an upset. I'll just pick this game.
Yep.
They're probably gonna get their butts kicked, but I'm gonna pick this game. And sure enough, they pull it. That's the week they pull it out. The stars align and everything's perfect.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
Alrighty. Well, that is, like I said, the third installment of the Trajan Temple challenges, I guess. So, like I said, I'm up 2-1 here too. We want to hear from you guys. Leave a comment down below. What challenge should we attempt next? We have some stuff in the works. We already want to do a soccer-style penalty shootout. We want to do field goal kicking, which that's going to be hilariously bad. The final score might end up being 1-0 on that one, or it might be a draw. We might just give up. I don't know. But we'd love to.
The Cowboys call us at the end.
Oh, hey, there we go. You never know. Weird things have happened. But yeah, we want to hear from all of you. Let us know down below what challenges you'd like to see me and Trajan take on here in the future. As we mentioned earlier, the San Francisco 49ers will be traveling to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. That game will be taking place at 2 p.m. Central Time. And as I mentioned earlier, 5 o'clock. Arrowhead Stadium, the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. And yours truly will be there. I'll have some family. I'll have some friends with me there too. This is the first AFC Championship game that I've ever gotten the chance to see live, and I couldn't be more excited. I know it's going to be cold. I know it's going to be windy. The elements are going to be, kind of iffy. But you know what? When your team makes it this far, honestly, let's be upfront here. Nobody thought the Chiefs were going to come back to this stage when Tyreek Hill left. And wouldn't it be amazing if without Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs win the Lamar Hunt Trophy and go back to the Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill? How many, what kind of, you can't almost think of a more amazing storyline than that. Because that's what everyone said. Even there was people saying the Chiefs would be last in the AFC West.
There was. I was one of them. That's more hopeful. No. I think there was still a lot of people that were pulling for you guys. Because you are the golden boys of the NFL right now. But
you mean the right people towards the top were pulling for us, right?
Goodell, you have him in your pockets. But anyways, no, I am happy for you guys. For you, I'm happy for you. I'm not happy for your team. I'm happy for you. Enjoy that championship game. Go enjoy seeing Joe Burr kick your guys' butts.
If it's meant to be, then that's what it'll be. But you know what? I believe in this team. I think this is their opportunity to shock the world. So let's go do it. Let's go Chiefs. Let's take care of business at Arrowhead in front of a raucous crowd, and I'm so excited to be able to go see it live. So, any closing thoughts? This is the final episode of the playoffs before we go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, I guess we'll probably talk about the Pro Bowl too after this week,
Maybe.
But we're leading up to the Super Bowl here.
Excited. I always like the playoff game, even if my team's not in it. And no, it's been a good playoff series. I wish my Steelers were there, but no, it's been some upsets, some close games, some not close games, and the Cowboys are out of the playoffs, so that's nice. It's been nice.
America wins, baby.
America.
All righty. Well, on that note, thank you everybody so much for watching. Thank you for being with us every step of the way this year. It's been it's crazy that we're nearing the end of season 2 of this show, and you know, we know it's, you know, there's not a whole lot of people out there that watch us, but we do see the ones that do support us, and from the bottom of our hearts, we really appreciate the support you do show us here. And like I said, we hope to keep building this. We want to keep seeing this thing grow and turn into something bigger as the years go by. I mean, heck, we're running this on a shoestring production. You know, yep. I'm not the computer wizard that a lot of these other shows are. I don't have a technical degree. We don't have an editor, you know, that could do all this fancy stuff here too. We learn something new every time we do one of these shows, and we try to give each other ideas to make this show better. And we'd love to hear from you guys. What are some stuff that you guys want to see that would make this show more entertaining, more fun, more funny, and anything? We would love to hear from you guys sincerely here too. But for those that have been with us through every step of the way, sincerely, we thank you all very much. So be sure to click the like if you liked the video, click subscribe if you really enjoyed it, tell all of your friends, and we shall see you for our Super Bowl preview next episode, as well as the well, we'll give some thoughts about the Pro Bowl games too. Boy, that's weird to say. Pro Bowl games. It's not even a Pro Bowl anymore. It's something weird now too. All righty. Well, thank you everybody so much again. This is Temple and Trajan signing off.